has to look dangerous.
Sure feels dangerous.
Good, because we need to blow everyone away tomorrow night.
Are you sure you want me to do the big finish with you? I mean, I am a rookie.
So what? You and Dodger have...
Okay.
I left the sliding stop down. It's gonna look so cool under the lights.
I am excited, but it's kind of scary being center stage for my first rodeo.
You'll do great. Come on, let's get this finish down.
The crowd cheers, the dust swirls, and Amy Fleming rides like her life depends on it. But just when victory seems certain, one small slip changes everything. The arena goes silent, the music fades, and time stands still. Amy's hand, her lifeline as a horse trainer, is caught in the reins. In that single moment, her strength, her courage, and her future at Heartland are all put to the test. It's a bright Saturday morning in Hudson, the kind that feels alive with excitement. The sun glows golden over the open fields, and the familiar sound of horses neighing fills the air. The town is buzzing with energy. The Hudson Rodeo is back. Families are gathering around the stands, kids holding cotton candy, the smell of hay and leather drifting in the breeze. This isn't just another event. It's a celebration of community, courage, and the cowboy spirit. At the center of it all stands Amy Fleming, her calm confidence shining through the morning light. She's wearing her signature light denim jacket and her old brown riding boots, the same ones she's worn through victories and heartbreaks. Her horse, Spartan, stands beside her, strong and steady as ever. There's a quiet bond between them, something unspoken but deeply felt. Every movement, every breath seems to match in rhythm. As Amy adjusts Spartan's saddle, Jack Bartlett walks up with that familiar smile, the kind that carries both pride and worry. "You ready for this, kiddo?" he asks, his voice low but full of warmth. Amy smiles back, "As ready as I'll ever be," but behind that smile, there's tension. She knows this isn't just another ride, it's her comeback moment. After everything she's faced, from losing Ty to rebuilding her confidence, this rodeo feels like a test she needs to pass. Meanwhile, Tim Fleming, Amy's father, stands near the arena gates. His eyes follow every move she makes. He tries to look calm, but anyone who knows him can see the worry in his expression. For Tim, rodeos have always been about pride, legacy, and family. But seeing Amy there, helmet strapped, reins in hand, he can't shake the memory of past accidents, the fear that one wrong move can take everything away. The announcer's voice echoes through the speakers. Next up, Amy Fleming and Spartan, representing Heartland Ranch. The crowd roars, clapping and cheering. Amy takes a deep breath. The camera lingers on her face, a mix of nerves and determination. She strokes Spartan's mane and whispers, "Let's do this." As the gates swing open, Spartan bursts forward with incredible speed. Dust rises around them as they race across the arena, weaving through barrels with precision. The audience leans forward, eyes locked on Amy. Every turn, every stride is smooth and controlled. For a moment, everything feels perfect, like the old days when Amy and Spartan ruled the rodeo scene. But then, something subtle changes. A faint shimmer of doubt crosses her eyes. Maybe it's the uneven ground, or maybe it's just fate waiting for the right second to strike. Spartan's back leg slips slightly on the dirt. Amy's grip tightens, her hand pulling the reins instinctively. The camera zooms in, her knuckles turn white, her jaw clenches, and time slows down just for a heartbeat. Cut to a close-up shot of the crowd, Jack's hopeful smile fading into concern, Tim's hands gripping the railing, Lyndy covering her mouth in fear. The background sound dims, replaced by the faint thud of a heartbeat. Amy steadies Spartan, regaining control just in time to finish the round. The crowd erupts in applause, unaware of what's about to happen next. Amy pats Spartan's neck, smiling with relief. But as she raises her hand to wave to the audience, her fingers tremble slightly. Something isn't right. Her hand, her lifeline, is starting to swell. The camera fades to black, leaving only the echo of cheering in the background. And then, the narrator's voice returns softly. Sometimes, the biggest storms begin right after the calmest ride. The night before the rodeo still lingers in Amy's mind like a half-remembered dream. The barn at Heartland was quiet, except for the sound of the horses shifting in their stalls and the faint hum of the wind moving through the rafters. Amy had stayed up late brushing Spartan, her hands moving slowly through his mane, her eyes thoughtful and far away. Every stroke was steady, but her heart wasn't. Somewhere deep inside, she could feel it, a whisper of doubt that wouldn't fade. She thought about everything that led her here. Season after season, she had carried the weight of both love and loss. Ty's absence was still a shadow that followed her, even in the brightest moments. The ranch, the horses, her family, they kept her grounded, but sometimes the memories crept in like ghosts. She still remembered Ty's words from years ago when he told her, "You've got this fire in you, Amy. Don't let fear tame it." And maybe that's what the rodeo was about. Not winning, not pride, but proving that her fire still burned, even after everything. As dawn began to color the sky, Jack had found her sitting in the paddock, a mug of coffee in her hands, staring at the hills. He didn't say anything at first, he never needed to. Just the crunch of his boots on the gravel was enough to make her smile faintly. "You don't have to prove anything to anyone," he'd said, looking out at the horizon. "You've already done more than most people dream of." Amy turned to him, eyes steady. "Maybe, but I still need to prove it to myself." Back at the house, Lou was pacing in the kitchen, phone in hand, trying to organize the day. Between managing Heartland beef, raising her daughters, and worrying about her sister, she barely had a moment to breathe. "You sure about this, Amy?" she'd asked earlier, biting her lip. "You could sit this one out, you know. There's always another rodeo." But Amy only smiled, that soft, stubborn smile, the one that meant the decision was already made. "I'll be fine. I just need this." Meanwhile, Tim had been wrestling with his own ghosts. The rodeo brought back memories he didn't want to miss, chances, broken bones, and the price of pushing too hard. He'd seen what competition could do to a person, how it could turn courage into recklessness. Watching Amy get ready stirred something deep inside him. Maybe guilt, maybe fear, or maybe just the unspoken truth that no matter how much he wanted to protect her, he couldn't ride that horse for her. Later that evening, as the lights in the house went out one by one, Amy sat by Spartan's stall again. The moonlight spilled across the floor like silver water. She reached out and pressed her palm gently against Spartan's neck. "Tomorrow's just another day, right, boy?" she whispered. Spartan turned his head slightly, his breath warm against her shoulder. It felt like he understood. Cut to a quiet montage, the ranch under the stars, the wind moving through the trees, the barn light flickering. In the distance, a storm cloud gathers, faint thunder rolling across the hills. The music fades in a low, emotional piano melody, and then the narrator's voice returns, calm but haunting. "Sometimes before fate strikes, it gives you signs, but only the brave mistake them for silence." As the screen fades to black, the faint image of the rodeo arena flashes for a moment, the place where all her fears, her courage, and her destiny are about to collide. The morning of the Hudson Rodeo feels like standing at the edge of a storm you can't see yet, but you can feel it. The sky stretches wide and cloudless, a deep blue that promises heat and heartache. The rodeo grounds are alive with sound, boots crunching on gravel, announcers testing microphones, horses snorting and shifting nervously in their stalls. Dust floats in the air like gold. The smell of fried food and hay blends into something that feels unmistakably small town and raw. This is Hudson at its proudest, families, friends, and old rivals all packed together to watch courage collide with fate. Amy arrives early. Her truck rumbles to a stop, the trailer door swings open, and Spartan steps out, muscles rippling under the sunlight. He looks calm, but his ears flicker at every sound. Amy runs a gentle hand along his neck, whispering words only he can understand. "We've done this before, buddy, just like old times." Her voice is steady, but there's a flicker of nerves she can't quite hide. For her, this day isn't just about competition, it's about reclaiming a part of herself that's been lost in the quiet grief of the past few years. Across the arena, banners flap in the breeze. Hudson Rodeo, where legends ride. Tim stands near the stables, his hat pulled low over his eyes, pretending to check his watch but really watching Amy. Jack leans on the fence nearby, quiet as always, his weathered face unreadable. They've both seen too many falls, too many close calls, to ever truly relax on a day like this. For every rider, Rodeo isn't just sport, it's a gamble. You give everything you are to a creature you can't control and hope that trust is enough. The crowd begins to fill the stands. Kids wave tiny flags, vendors shout, and a local country band plays softly in the distance. A group of riders walk past Amy, some nod politely, others flash confident smiles. She doesn't notice. Her focus is razor sharp now. She checks Spartan's bridle one last time, tightening the strap, making sure everything feels right. The announcer's voice crackles over the loudspeaker, calling out names and times from earlier rounds. In the commentator's booth, the camera pans over the crowd, capturing families cheering, cowboys laughing, and Amy in the background, quiet, centered, the calm before chaos. The voiceover cuts in. Amy Fleming, representing Heartland Ranch, has faced more than her share of battles. But today, at Hudson Rodeo, she rides not for the trophy, but for herself. As the words echo, the screen fades to slow-motion shots, Spartan's hooves striking the ground, the Canadian flag fluttering in the wind, the sunlight catching the edge of Amy's helmet. Each frame hums with tension. The camera cuts back to the holding gate, Amy mounting Spartan, pulling her gloves tight, her face lit with determination. Lou appears at the sidelines with Lyndy on her shoulders, waving wildly. "Go, Mommy!" Lyndy's little voice pierces through the crowd noise. Amy turns her head slightly, just enough to smile. It's a brief moment of peace before everything changes. Then, the world seems to hold its breath. The gate creaks open. Spartan steps forward. The music swells, a rising country melody mixed with a racing heartbeat. Amy lowers herself into position, her eyes locked on the barrels ahead. The narrator's tone deepens. Every second in that arena is a story. Every ride could be your last. But when the world watches, you can't think about falling. The final shot before the chaos hits, Amy and Spartan exploding into motion, dust swirling behind them, the crowd roaring. The energy is electric, alive, unstoppable. And then, a sudden cut, freeze frame on Amy's determined face, her hand gripping the reins, unaware that within minutes, everything she loves will be tested. The music fades out. The heartbeat sound returns. The air inside the Hudson Rodeo arena is electric, thick with cheers, dust, and tension. Amy and Spartan stand at the starting gate, shadows stretching long under the afternoon sun. For a split second, the world feels still. Her heartbeat syncs with Spartan's breathing, steady and strong. She leans forward slightly, eyes fixed on the path ahead, the barrels, the turns, the finish line glimmering under the banners. Then, the gate swings open. Spartan launches forward like lightning. The crowd rises to its feet as horse and rider move as one. The announcer's voice cracks through the air, and there goes Amy Fleming, riding Spartan for Heartland Ranch. The camera follows her every move, dust flying, her hair catching the light, the rhythm of hooves echoing like thunder. For a moment, it's pure perfection, Amy gliding through the arena with the grace that made her a legend. The first barrel clean turn, the second tight and fast. The crowd roars. But as Spartan charges toward the third, something shifts. Maybe it's the ground. Maybe it's just bad luck, but the world suddenly tilts. The dirt beneath Spartan's hooves gives way slightly. A split-second slip that changes everything. Amy reacts instinctively, pulling the reins to steady him, but her glove snags. Her right hand catches hard against the leather, twisted tight as Spartan stumbles. There's a heartbeat of silence. Then chaos. The crowd gasps. Spartan's front legs dig into the dirt, and Amy is thrown sideways. Her hand jerks violently, trapped, wrenched, twisted. The sound of tearing leather mixes with the echo of pain. She hits the ground hard, dust exploding around her. For a moment, there's only stillness, no cheers, no music, just the wind and the distant sound of Spartans snorting in panic. Jack's voice breaks the silence first. "Amy," he shouts, his hands gripping the railing as he rushes forward. Tim's already running, his boots pounding against the dirt. Lou stands frozen in the stands, Lyndy clinging to her arm, wide-eyed and trembling. The camera lingers on Amy, her face pale, her hand cradled close to her chest. The crowd murmurs, uncertain whether to clap or cry. Paramedics rush in, their voices calm but urgent. Don't move her hand, let us see it first. Spartan circles nearby, restless and frightened, as if he knows he's hurt her. Amy tries to speak, but the words barely come out. It's fine, she whispers through clenched teeth. It's just my hand. But even she can't hide the pain. The camera cuts to a slow-motion replay, the slip, the twist, the fall. The sound fades out entirely, replaced by the low pulse of a heartbeat. Each frame lingers too long, every detail sharp and cruel. The hand twisting, the rein snapping, the dirt rising. It's not just a fall, it's a breaking point. Jack kneels beside her now, voice shaking but gentle. It's okay, sweetheart. You're okay. Tim's jaw is tight, his eyes burning with guilt he can't name. Lou crouches nearby, holding Lyndy close, whispering, "Mommy's strong, baby. She's gonna be okay." The camera pulls back slowly, revealing the whole arena. Amy surrounded by people, Spartan still trembling in the corner. The crowd silent, as if the rodeo itself has stopped breathing. The once cheerful banners now hang limp in the wind. Then, a close-up, Amy's hand. The glove torn open, her fingers swelling beneath the dirt and sweat. The medic wraps it carefully, murmuring, "Possible fracture. We'll need X-rays." Amy closes her eyes, the sound of her own breathing loud in her ears. The narrator's voice returns soft, sorrowful, but strong. In every story of courage, there's a moment when strength is tested not by fear, but by pain. And sometimes the greatest fall isn't from the saddle. It's from the weight of what comes next. As the screen fades to black, the faint sound of the crowd returns, distant, uncertain applause mixing with murmurs of worry. The image of Amy's bandaged hand lingers for just a second longer before disappearing completely. The cheers are gone now. What's left is silence, the kind that feels heavy, the kind that presses against your chest. The Hudson Rodeo arena, once bursting with life, has turned into a scene of quiet chaos. The dust still hangs in the air where Amy fell, catching the sunlight in small, glittering specks. Spartan stands near the gate, snorting softly, his reins dangling, eyes searching for Amy as if he can't understand what happened. Amy sits on a stretcher, her hand wrapped in a temporary splint, her face pale but calm. The medic's voice is low, careful. "It might be a small fracture. Maybe the wrist too. We won't know until we get an X-ray." Amy nods, but her eyes are elsewhere, on Spartan, on the arena, on the dream that just slipped through her fingers. The pain is there. Yes, sharp and real. But it's not just her hand that hurts. It's something deeper, the ache of fear, of doubt, of wondering if this was a sign to stop. Jack kneels beside her, his hat held tight in his hands. "You scared the life out of us, kiddo," he says softly, his voice trembling just enough to betray him. Amy tries to smile, but it falters halfway. "Guess I gave the crowd more excitement than they paid for," she says, forcing a laugh. Jack doesn't laugh back. He looks at her hand, then at her eyes, and what he sees there makes his chest tighten. That same fire that's always defined Amy, the strength, the courage, it's still there, but it's flickering now. Uncertain, Tim paces a few feet away, his boots grinding against the dirt. He can't look at her, not yet. His hands are clenched, his jaw tight. "She shouldn't have been out there," he mutters under his breath, more to himself than anyone else. Jack shoots him a look. "Don't you start that now, Tim," but Tim shakes his head. "You saw that horse stumble. You saw how fast she was pushing it. She's got nothing to prove." His voice cracks, raw with guilt and fear. The medic clears his throat. "We need to move her now." Lou appears suddenly, her eyes red from holding back tears. Lyndy clinging to her leg. "Mommy?" The single word is soft but heavy. Amy's heart twists. She reaches out with her good hand, managing a weak smile. "Hey, sweetheart. Mommy's okay." But as she says it, her injured hand trembles slightly, betraying the lie. The camera follows them as Amy is led toward the ambulance. The crowd watches silently, hats lowered, faces somber. A few people clap softly, an unspoken gesture of respect. Even the announcer doesn't know what to say. His voice fades out mid-sentence. Spartan whinnies loudly as she's taken away, his hooves scraping at the dirt like he's trying to follow. Jack walks to him, resting a steady hand on his mane. She'll be back for you, boy, he whispers, though his voice carries doubt. At the hospital, the sterile light feels like a different world. Amy sits on the edge of the bed, her bandaged hand resting on her lap. The doctor enters, expression gentle but serious. It's not too bad, he says. A few weeks, maybe longer. You'll heal fine, but no riding for a while. The words hit harder than she expects. No riding. They echo in her mind like a punishment. For Amy, that's not just a rule, it's a sentence. Outside the hospital room, Tim and Jack argue in hushed voices. You've got to tell her to slow down, Tim says. She doesn't know how, Jack replies simply. That girl was born in the saddle. You can't ask her to stop breathing. The words linger between them. Both men fall silent, knowing he's right. Later that evening, as the sky fades into twilight, Amy stands by the hospital window, her left hand pressed against the glass, her injured one still bound tight. The world outside moves on, cars, people, life. But for Amy, everything has paused. Her reflection stares back at her, the faint trace of dust still on her cheek. She whispers, barely audible, "What if this is the end?" The narrator's voice returns, soft and steady like a memory. Sometimes life doesn't test how strong you are. It tests how much you're willing to lose before you find strength again. The camera pans to her hand, wrapped in white bandages against the fading light. The faint sound of horses running echoes in the background, as if the ranch itself is calling her home.